Hi, my name is Molly Lorenz, and I am happy to be here today to help celebrate Black History Month with the African American Read-In. I am going to be reading a book by Kekla Magoon and Ilyasah Shabazz called X. And Ilyasah Shabazz is one of Malcolm X's 6 daughters. She was only 2 years old when her father was assassinated, and she has written quite a few books about her father as well as her mother as a way of making sure that their history is told accurately. And she really thinks it's important for the next generation to understand about their heritage and personal identity and to really practice self-love. She has also won an award for this book. She won the Coretta Scott King Award, you can see here, and that award honors authors who help to celebrate African American culture and universal human values. So I'm going to read just the beginning of the book for you today, but if you like it, hopefully you'll pick it up and read more. You can also read Malcolm X's autobiography, and there's quite a few other books recommended at the end of this book that you might find interesting. So check it out. I'm going to start with the dedication. And this is from Ilyasah Shabazz. She says, "Dedicated to my nephew Malcolm in loving memory, and to the far too many young people who seek a father figure. You alone have the power to accomplish what you will, to accomplish every goal, clear every obstacle, win every challenge. You have the gift of an indomitable spirit. Stay strong, focused, and determined. With love, Ilyasah Shabazz." Now I'm going to read the introduction. The book jumps back and forth in time, so we're going to start off in Harlem, New York, 1945. Friends tell me trouble's coming. I ease out of the restaurant onto the sidewalk, gun in my pocket, hand in there too, keeping it close for good measure. I gotta get back to my pad, and quick now. One foot in front of the other. Keep my head down. Hope no one sees me. "Hey, Red," someone says out of the shadows. I flinch, flick my fingers on the metal. Detroit Red, they call me, though Michigan seems far behind me now. "Hey, Red, I heard Archie's looking for you." West Indian Archie, the numbers runner I work for. My pulse beats firmer under my skin. "Oh, yeah?" I play it cool, keep moving. Half strangers know. Hell, rumors don't lie. West Indian Archie's mad. He says I wronged him, but I didn't. You'd have to be out of your mind to try and cheat a guy like Archie. A door slams somewhere along the block, and I jump about a mile. A voice calls out, but not to me. I clutch the gun in my coat and scurry on. How did it all go so wrong? When I first set foot in Harlem, I was a step ahead of everything. I could blend in with the jive cats, swirl with the Lindy ladies, let my feet groove, think of nothing but the now. I could close my eyes and in closing them not be seen. Slip into the seams of the streets and let them swallow me. It was a glorious fit, so seemingly warm. The slick, savvy streets of Harlem welcome me. I've made friends here, a life here, a whole world opening up. But now I've messed it all up, in a big-time way. No going back. Cop car comes rolling around the corner, real slow. Damn, gotta keep out of sight. In the middle of the block, there's a bar I know. Might be best to get inside now. "Hey, Red," the bartender says first off. "Archie's looking for you. He's good and steamed. Watch out." "So I heard," I say, hand in my pocket. Bartender looks me up and down. Well, well, you fixin' to fight?" "I don't know," I say. "I don't know." Sitting at the bar is an old man from the islands. He moves himself in a wise, wrinkled way. His warm, open expression gives me the out-of-place feeling that he can help me somehow, maybe even save me. I want to lean into it, but when he speaks, it's to send me away. "You should get out of town, son, and I mean today." The door bangs open. Our 3 heads turn. A beat cop from the neighborhood strolls in. My hand is still on the gun. I ease it out of my pocket, up onto the bar, behind the old islander's back. The bartender slips it out of sight behind some bottles, but I still can't breathe. Detroit Red, the cop says. You been causing trouble? No, sir, I mutter, summoning a layer of polite. I raise my arms up for the pat down. The bartender meets my eye, wipes the counter. You owe me one, he's thinking, and I know he'll collect. You're clean, the cop says, which is a strange piece of fortune. No reefer, no joint, no stray bag of powder. I place my hands in my pockets, real casual. The cop stands close. I've seen him around, patrolling the neighborhood. I wouldn't have guessed you would know me by name. I would have thought you'd be carrying, he adds. Rumor is you've got a gun. Maybe I had one, I answer. Maybe I threw it in the river. The cop breathes peppermint inches from my face. Watch your back now, he says, a little bit pleased. I remain stuck there, unmoving as he strolls out. It's hard to breathe, to think. Get out of here, Red, the bartender says. I don't want any trouble. I leave the bar the back way. All that's left is to run. If there's one thing I can do, it's run. I've already been running for so long. The avenues are alive with people. Late afternoon. Stretch your legs and shoot the breeze. Let your throat loose and holler. Blow off steam. An everyday scene. Not for me. Not today. I run. People try to stop me, try to warn me. Watch out. I can't make it home, not like this. I race up to my friend Sammy's pad. Sammy's stretched out on the bed, floating high. He lifts his head, sees me standing there, panting, fists clenched. My man, he says, you bringing trouble up in here? I'll just be here a minute. I shut myself in the bathroom, splash some water on my face. Red, Sammy calls. You okay? I'm not okay. My skin is flushed hot. I let the water run, dip my cheek into the ice-cool flow. It feels good. Red, Sammy calls. Archie's down front. His guys say he's coming up. They say he's got a gun. My knees buckle. My body bumps down onto the tile, back against the door, tucked as small as I can. I close my sweat-stung eyes, and there are tears now, salty and hot. What have I done? Red, Sammy shouts. He bangs on the bathroom door. You gotta go, man. You gotta go now. I curl against the cold tiles. I never imagined I'd be brought so low. Archie's here to kill me, and there's nothing I can do. My life flashes before my eyes. Every place I've ever known, every face I've ever loved, everything I've ever done. And it all seems like a dream now, as if any minute I'll wake up in my childhood bed in Lansing, Michigan, and I'll be 5 years old, with Papa still alive and Mom home and smiling, her arms open wide to hold me. But Sammy's voice is what's real. Red, you hear me? Red! Here and now I don't want to be Detroit Red. I want to slip the skin of this life, to be new and clean again. Just start over. I've done it before. I slide my hands over my smooth conch, down my neck bone, fingers locking tight. It isn't me they're after. It isn't me who's here. Red! Red! No, not Red. I am Malcolm. I am Malcolm Little. I am my father's son. But to be my father's son means that they will always come for me. They will always come for me, and I will always succumb. Chapter 1, Lansing, Michigan, 1940. I steady my suitcase against the back seat as the car thumps over the streetcar tracks. My eyes drift closed, but I force them open. Don't think of Papa. Not now. Not today. Not when everything's about to be brand new. It's 4 a.m, too early for anything except to catch a one-way bus out of town. Half an hour from now, Lansing will be nothing but a blur in the rearview mirror. I can't wait. Mr. Swirlin parks the car next to the bus station. I'm out like a flash, up to the ticket counter with the money I've saved. Boston, Massachusetts, I say. It's fast, faster than I expect, and so easy. The clerk slaps a piece of paper in my palm, my ticket. Turns out it takes less than a minute to buy a new life. The bus pulls into the station. The exhaust clouds up around us like steam, the fuel smell piercing the pre-dawn blackness. The sharp stench brings it home to me. I'm leaving. This big coughing machine is going to carry me away. The bus door swings open on hinges that creak and groan. The driver emerges, a round white man in a green coat and cap. Toledo, Cleveland, Erie, Buffalo, Albany, Boston, he announces. He hikes up his pants and stretches his arms. All aboard! Around us, families stir and mingle, tangling one another in arms. My guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Swirlin, stand by me, calmly watching the proceedings. We're a group, not a family, but it doesn't seem right to just walk away. I look over my shoulder toward the road. My real family is supposed to be meeting us here, all my brothers and sisters. I thought there'd be enough time to say goodbye. A glance at my watch says the bus is early. 8 whole minutes until it's scheduled to leave. A few passengers disembark as the Lansing folks line up. The driver rolls his shoulders and lights up a cigarette, breathing a gray cloud out through his nostrils like fog in the cool morning air. He's in no apparent hurry. A large black car comes rolling up. I recognize it from the driveway of the home where my youngest siblings, Yvonne, Wesley, and Robert, stay. The door pops open and half my family comes pouring out. I'm glad to see the crowd includes my oldest brothers, Filbert and Reginald, even though they live in a different home. Wilfred and Hilda, the oldest of us all, still lives at the old house, and I don't see them yet. Reginald's familiar voice cries out, "There he is!" My siblings descend, and the distant stillness around me becomes a warm, chattering flurry. We made it! Are you ready? Are you excited? We're going to miss you, Malcolm. They cluster around me, sort of hugging, sort of jostling, all speaking at once. I laugh out loud because it feels so normal compared to the solitude I endure at this Orleans. Do you have to go, Malcolm? My 9-year-old sister Yvonne wraps her arms around my waist. Don't you want to come over for breakfast? I pat the top of her head. I'll miss those breakfasts, true enough. Getting together once a week with all my brothers and sisters? Yeah, that's the one thing I'll miss about Lansing. I'm used to missing everyone, though. Now that we all live in separate foster homes, that breakfast is the only time of the week all 8 of us can be together. Yvonne's foster family is real decent about hosting all of us so often. It's going to be pancakes, Yvonne whispers, as if that would inspire me to stay. Behind her, my brother Filbert snorts loudly. Yeah, and there might be enough to go around for once without this bonehead hogging the butter and syrup. Stop it, Hilda snaps as she arrives alongside of us. Our older sister smacks Filbert lightly on the back of the head. Ow, Filbert staggers around the lot, pretending a serious head injury. Who's the bonehead now, I quip. Filbert's moaning only grows louder. Hilda glances around the parking lot as if looking for something to throw at the 2 of us. I should have known you all couldn't be serious long enough to say goodbye. Her voice catches. Serious is overrated. I grin to cover the twinge of sorrow in my chest right then. Sorrow mixed with a strange, glad feeling that, for a minute, things are back to almost normal. The way it's supposed to be, with all of us together, laughing and teasing one another and whatnot. Wilfred's here now, too, shaking hands with Mr. Swerlin, looking very adult and official. All the little children, present and accounted for. Won't be this way again for a while. I turn back to Filbert, who's always good for a joke to keep the mood light, but he's stopped his staggering theatrics. He stands quietly beside me now, out of character for him. I slug him in the arm, not that hard, just to wake him up. He slugs me back, hard. Then he turns away. All aboard, the bus driver calls. He returns to the entry well and starts tearing passengers' tickets. I pry Yvonne's arms around my waist to make room for hugs from Reginald, Wesley, and Robert. Filbert stands off to the side with his head low, looking at everything but me. I move away from my younger ones, onward towards him. That hurt, you know. I rub my arm. Filbert doesn't react. What's your problem? I ask him. He crosses his arms tight. He's trying not to look at me, but I recognize his expression. This isn't how Filbert looks when he's mad. It's how he looks when he's sad, but mad about it. Which is not the same, like at Papa's funeral, or when they took Mom away. But this is different. It isn't so awful. This is just me leaving. I don't know how to explain why I have to go, why the giant weight on my chest suddenly lifts when I think about moving to Boston. When our half-sister Ella invited me to visit, it gave me the first glimpse of happiness, of hopefulness I've felt since Mom went away. But a visit isn't enough for what I need. I'm going there to stay. All I seem to be able to do around here is get myself in trouble. I've been expelled from school and shipped out to the Swerlins all alone, causing my brothers and sisters to worry. In Boston, Hilda says, at least I'll be with family. Look, I began to try to explain. Filbert flinches to the side, real dramatic. Hey, he cries, rubbing his arm in the spot where I punched him a minute ago. I narrow my eyes at him. He grins. Your punch just landed. Filbert is forever teasing me about how slow I am in a fist fight. He, on the other hand, is a really good boxer. My arm still smarts for real. No, I say, that was a new one. I moved so fast you didn't even see me. Just call me Lightning Little. Filbert straightens Filbert straightens his shoulders, leaning into the banister. Oh, I've got a better name for you. But whatever affectionate insult he offers is lost in the cloth of my suit as I circle him into my arms. It's easier, I guess, to laugh and joke and pretend tomorrow won't be any different from any other days before. Easier than trying to talk about how strange it is to be a part of a family and still be all alone. All aboard! Last call! The driver shouts. Mr. Swirling claps me on the shoulder. Here you go now, he says. He picks up my suitcase and carries it to the open cargo compartment in the base of the bus. Mrs. Swirling hands me a paper stack of sandwiches for the road. Thank you, I tell them. Hilda fusses with the collar on my jacket, smoothing and tucking and pressing it. Such a mom-like thing to do. She throws her arms around me. Oh, Malcolm. From her purse, she extracts a folded paper map and hands it to me. You'll want to see where you're going, she says. Won't you? It's from all of us, Wilfred adds. Right. Thanks. I tuck the map into my jacket pocket. It's too dark to read anything anyway. I get in line behind the others. There's no one my age in line. Older folks mostly. People with a weary look I know well enough. You alone? The driver says, taking the paper ticket out from my outstretched hand. Yes, sir. You 16? Yes, sir. I lie, stretching to my full height, trying to look a year older. He tears the ticket and hands it back. Go on to the back, you hear? Yes, sir. For the first time in forever, my feet are coming up off Michigan soil. Walking up those stairs is like walking into the mouth of the beast, and yet it doesn't scare me, not even a little. I should be scared, probably. In fact, as I sit by the window looking down at the faces of my siblings and my foster parents, what starts to scare me a little is how afraid I'm not. They wave up at me all at once, as if someone in the crowd said, 1, 2, 3. I lift my hands as if the whole thing has been choreographed. The youngest ones jump up and down, waving their whole bodies in answer. My family. I can't tear my eyes away. They look small, already distant. The door swings shut, creaking hard enough to send a chill over me. It sounds so final, that kind of closing. The bus shimmies and shakes and finally lurches forward. For a second, I get a little sad about it. Not believing, just the way it seems like the world is always changing, right under my feet. I hope you enjoyed it.